6 and 16, it says, "Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein. And ye shall find rest for your souls, but they say we will not walk therein."
We're going to do our own thing.
Yeah, you guys don't want to go back to the old paths. And the old paths, men take no women out on a date, man. That's that Monday bullshit. You know, if the man fancied a woman, he would go to the
and
father.
your father would get you a woman anyway, bruh. Your
Right.
father would work out a deal with another man and say, "Oh, your daughter's the same age as my son.
Yep.
We're going to work out a deal."
That's true.
And guess who's going to be the last people to know?
They are.
The woman. Isaac and Rebecca.
Right.
Hey, the minute Isaac and Rebecca saw this woman, she didn't know this dude from the campaign.
Right.
And when he looked at her, he said, "Damn, this chick is good.
For me?
This for me." And then they saw, look, this is the husband right here. And he immediately took her off the horse.
Yeah.
Right, grabbed her off the horse, went into the tent, because he was mourning for his mother,
Right.
Sarah.
Sarah, yep.
Right.
And when he popped the woman,
He was
that
comforted.
depression, if you have bouts of depression, get you some pussy.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then what happened? Then she became his wife.
Right.
Yeah, she became his woman. The word wife means woman. So he didn't take her out on a date saying, "You think I could get, like that song by Spanky and our game? I'd like to get to know you." Yes, sir. There wasn't none of that BS, man. Hey,
You know what? But she looked good. She looked good. She clean. She's infection free.
She's
by
your
the way,
queen.
That's how they show you that was Israel. That
Yeah.
African group, Zamunda, they
Yeah.
were Israelites, man.
oh, by the way, when
He said she was bred from a child to serve you. And
Man.
this simple ass nigga, he gonna go to Queens to get some hoe.
use up box.
Skanky.
Hey, when the scriptures speak about a man getting to know a woman, that's through the act of sex. That's the best way to know a woman.
He knew her.
And he knew her. Meaning they had sex. So the best way for a man to know a woman is to have sex with her.
Explore her funky emotions.
Yeah.
And she's under orders anyway. She was raised up. She's trained childhood to be for her man.
Yeah.
See, you black women, ain't none of you bitches can't boil a pot of water.
Damn.
You boil a pot of water, you burn the whole fucking house down.
They're useless.
Take funky drawers. Take them straws off and run everything right out the house.
God damn.
You got something?
Yeah. Job chapter 8. Come on, man. Hurry up. Job chapter 8, verse 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers.
Yeah, so again, when you read the former age, look, women were basically property. Now you try to say that in this world, you'll get a hell of a blowback, man.
Yeah.
How dare you say women are property?
Right.
Why you think a woman, her last name is either her father or her husband?
When that goes into the topic which I was going to get into.
Yeah.
So that's the spirit about reproach. Take away my reproach.
Right.
What does that really mean? You get a man, you become pregnant.
Right.
Oh, I'm going to get into it, but I went through the scriptures. I was going to do it in one scripture, but I said it would have been too long.
Right.
But I was even going into the Bible Hub, and them translators, they were breaking it down the same. They were giving me the right scriptures. They gave all the right scriptures. They gave the one in Luke about
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Right.
And she said, "Thou have taken away my reproach."
Right.
When did she say that? When she got pregnant.
Right.
Yeah, because back again, if you go back to the ancient world, if a woman didn't give children, didn't bear seed,
Right.
she was useless.
Right.
That was Elijah.
Samuel.
What did it say? Elijah and Samuel.
Con.
That's Abba. That's why I said that. But she was barren, and I believe the woman was snapping on her. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the other wife.
The other wife was snapping on her, and she was sad. And they said, "Why do you cry?"
Right.
I can't bear no children.
Right.
But then she bore a child, but that was a special child.
Right. which
And
was
I
Samuel.
believe when she found out she was pregnant, she said, God has taken away my reproach.
Right.
Because a woman is made to have children.
Right.
Not to be you wombat, you black women. And first of all, the 99% of you black women in America, you're gonna be fired up. You're gonna be part of that fire. Because we ain't bringing no black ass women to the kingdom. We ain't bringing that's another
That's a
topic.
topic.
We ain't bringing no black ass women from the kingdom to the kingdom.
All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Ha Rakat Quadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abab babal. Alright, just like you heard, the apostle elders which rule great millstone well. Alright, he was speaking about that Isaiah 4:1, which is prophecy of the later end. Isaiah 4:1, and in that day 7 women. It's not exactly 7 women. 7 is a number of completion. Shall take hold of one man. Talking about the elect men, because the elect men are going to be made more precious than fine gold. That's at 11. Isaiah 13:11. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. The wicked are the so-called Caucasians, the red devils the Bible speaks of. Alright, and they have corrupted the world with their wickedness, and the whole world is operating in a wicked, evil vibration. Except for the remnant, the elect of Israel, the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians which have been scattered throughout the world of slavery. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Alright, the terrible is the so-called white man. He's the most proud devil on earth, is the American so-called white man. The Lord is going to destroy America with 200 million nuclear missiles. That's why he said, about the woman being in fire, because America is going to be turned into a lake of fire after they make the MOTB, implantable microchip, mandatory for buying and selling, which majority of women, alright, they're going to run to Egypt to take it. They're going to run to Egypt for help. Egypt being America, alright, Egypt is, the word is Greek, meaning bondage. Okay, and the Lord is going to destroy the oppressor, the so-called white man, and his kingdom, which starts with America. I will make a man more precious, not any man, but the elect men of the nation of Israel, than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So even though, America is that Ophir, alright, and American gold is the most valued gold in the world, that's how the elect men are soon to be valued, because of Isaiah 4. Alright, these women are going to search for us. It says in Isaiah 4:1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread. So they'll cook and wear our own apparel, which women are not supposed to be wearing pants. They're supposed to be in dresses. Alright, so they're going to get down. They're going to say, hey, we'll stop eating the pork. We'll stop eating the abominations. Right? We'll cook good. We'll wear a dress. We'll stop wearing the yoga pants. We'll stop wearing, these clothes that they call, clothes today, which are actually underwear. It says, only let us be called by thy name, which is marriage. Which marriage, alright, is sex. When a man would go inside a virgin and break her hymen, and she would bleed, All right, that was marriage, them being joined together. All right, that's what the word sex actually means, is to cut. The man will cut the woman's hymen when he enters her body, making her his own. All right, and that's why even in Genesis 2, when the Lord gave Eve to Adam, he even said this here. And verse 23, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, which means a female servant, because she became a wife. All right. If you don't have a husband to serve, you're not a woman. All right. Woman means female servant. So to be a real woman, you have to be serving your husband, because she was taken out of man. All right. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother. So he leaves out of under the rulership of his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, which we're allowed to have multiple wives. All right. And we're supposed to be getting our wives when they're virgins. But because of the wicked, all right, that rule the world, these women today, these females, I should say, are de-virginized at a very young age and have multiple body counts, all right? Because when you marry a virgin, you and her, as it says at the bottom of 24, and they shall be one flesh. They actually join to you, right? If you were to get a virgin, that virgin would be head over heels for you. So you would be able to join with her. But these bitches today, these Jake women today, in America especially, right? They've had 100 men, 200 men, 300 men, right? Their heart's been broken fucking 50 times this year. You know, they got kids from 5 different men, you know? How could you join yourself to that? How could they join themselves to you being filled with cum from other men? See, so we were supposed to get our women as virgins at their first period, right after the first period, which usually comes in around, today it's 9, but back, it could have been 12, a little older, but 12 to 9 years old is when they have it.
Average girl will get her first period around 12 years old, but it varies from person to person.
There you go. So around 12 years old, but it varies from person to person. Some get it as young as 9 years old, and some get it later after 12. So that period, that first period a woman's body has, is the sign to her father and her mother that she's ready to be married to a man. She's ready to bear children. That's the whole purpose of a woman, is to be comfort and to bear children. See? And that's what the problem is. The woman is over the man. Right? So the Lord has to reestablish what is right through the elect men, the remnant, by putting men over the women. And that's what the Lord is going to do. He's going to establish his elect men, and he's going to gather all these women under those elect men, and the elect men are going to bring forth the rest of the nation of Israel through those Israelite women. Isaiah 3 verse 8, for Jerusalem is ruined, right? Jerusalem, talking about the northern kingdom, is ruined. The Mexicans, the Hispanics, the so-called Latino women, the Native American Indian women, and men, because it starts with the men. But you got the remnant waking up, repenting. So you have men, right? You have the elect, the hopeful elect that are on the highways prophesying and sighing and crying. Now, if you refuse that opportunity, that's upon you, and you're going to be in that lake of fire, just like the Apostle Elder said. These virgins, you got these women. I know personally women that act like, because they kept their virginity throughout their whole entire life, like a nun, that they're holier than thou. But you just heard the Apostle Elder speaking of Isaiah 4:1 about how taking away the reproach is having, being joined to a man, having sex, and eventually conceiving a child. That's the whole purpose of a woman. The purpose of a woman is not to go have a job, all right, to be single parent, to be raising kids, to be monsters, all right. Her job was to serve a man next to another woman or women, because a man is to have multiple women, all right. What's he supposed to do when the woman has her period for a month? Huh? What about having children? A woman could only bear so many children. A woman could only take care of so many children. So you need the other women for multiple purposes, but one major purpose is comfort, sex, which is marriage. And then also, her being joined to him offers her safety, offers her honor, because she's a wife. Now she has to be respected as a man's wife. She will grow to be a grandmother, so there's honor, right? But it says, and Judah, which is the so-called black tribes, is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against Yahweh, right? So you got Judah, the so-called black tribes, Benjamin and Levi, and then you got the so-called Hispanic and Latino tribes, the Native American Indian tribes, committing abominations, right? But you got the remnant repenting, returning to what is right. Because their tongue and their doings are against Yahweh. So you got these women that all they want to do is have a job, own everything on their own, right? Have this, they want to be honored like men. But that ain't what you were created for. You was created to be penetrated by a man, to be impregnated by a man, and for you to serve that man for the rest of your entire life, next to your sister wives. But it shows you how far this place is from what is good. Today you don't even have women that have men. A lot of these women, they can't even keep a man, right? They probably had lots of men penetrate them, but they can't even keep a man. And I'm talking about a young age. I knew girls in high school that were already getting popped by different men. And then how much more when they got older and were able to support themselves and pay for their whoredom. See? So these so-called Negro, Latino, and Hispanic women in America ain't going to make it. Like the Apostle Elder Tar said, majority of you Jake women in America are going to die here. You're going to be left here, and you're going to be in that lake of fire. Because you have no guidance. You don't want no guidance. All right? You're rebellious, stiff-necked, and no one could correct you. Not even your father. That's why, really, the first thing you want to do is leave your father's house so you could go be the biggest whore in your city. See? It says, they show the show of their countenance does witness against them. Like these women, and I'm on the women right now, but the men are out of order of our nation, majority of them, and that's why they have to die too. But dealing with the women right now, all right, the women, you walk around with your ass hanging out. You have pictures that show your beauty on the internet to other men. See? So you're completely out of order and you have to be destroyed. Because you can't see what the fuck is wrong with it. It says, and they declare their sin as Sodom, which they even go into a rainbow flag, ways, which they call it pride now. All right, but pride cometh before the fall. It says, they hide it not, woe unto their souls. So destruction to them. Destruction to effeminate men, homosexuals, right? Lesbians, these women that say, I don't need a man, women that don't respect their man, women that, try to rule over their man. You're all going to be left here and destroyed. See? Because the Lord says about a All right, so I went to Herpa, And then I went to the reproach word, which was herpa. And then when you go down here, I thought it was in the lexicon, but in fact it's here in the other verses. So it shows you concordance results showing using the KJV. So it shows you this word herpa being used 73 times, all right, in the in the Blue Letter Bible. All right. So right here in Genesis 30 verse 23, right? And it says, and God, which it would be Elohim. So, and Elohim remembered Rachel, and Elohim hearkened to her, and opened her womb, and she conceived and bare a son, and said, God had taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, Yahweh shall add to me another son. So that reproach, all right, is right there. And when did that reproach come off of her? Off of Rachel? When she conceived. All right? So let's go back for another. Yep, and this is the one with 1 Samuel where the Apostle Tahar was talking about. And it's in the first chapter, I believe. Let me see. Because the birth of Samuel, Salakia. Right here. All right. It says his name was 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 1. Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuppah, and Ephraim, an Ephrathite. And he had two wives. The name of the one was Hannah, and the name of the other Peninnah. And Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. So they went to go serve the Lord, right? And she was mourning, she was lamenting. See? Right here, verse 11, 1 Samuel 1, verse 11. And she vowed a vow and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but wilt give unto thine handmaid a man-child, then I will give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli, which is a priest, said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. So that's how miserable she was, because she didn't bear no children. And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman. She's a wife, she's married. of a sorrowful spirit, but she hasn't bared no children. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I have poured out my soul before Yahweh. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, of the devil, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken here too. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the power of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And that's really what you got to do. You got to ask of the Lord to guide you to an elect man. And if you're of that elect number of women that's going to be joined to the elect men, all right, he'll guide you to the elect men, which it's not hard. That's why we're out there in the highways and the byways. But you shall know an elect man by the fruits that he bears. All right. It says, verse 17. I'm sorry. Let me get to the point where she conceives. Verse 21, and the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer unto Yahweh the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she had said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then I will bring him that he may appear before Yahweh, and there abide forever, which he was Samuel. Right here it is. Verse 19. And they rose up early in the morning, and worshipped before Yahweh, and returned, and came to their house to Ramah, and Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, so he had sex with her. That's how a man knows a woman. And Yahweh remembered her, wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come, about after Hannah had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of Yahweh. See, so her shame left because she was able to conceive. You see? But there are women that are married and they won't conceive. Right here in Psalm 113, verse 9, He maketh the barren woman to keep house, and to be joyful mother of children. Praise ye Yahweh. So the barren woman is not without a family if she's married to a man with a family. She's supposed to see the other woman's children as her own. You see? So a barren woman has her purpose as long as she's married to a man. Because a man could have children with another woman and the family keep growing with the help of the barren woman. Alright? But the women today, you know, the females of the modern age are worthless today because they don't even want to be married. They don't even want to serve a man. They don't even want to have children. They have abortions, right? So they're worthless. They're no good. And that's why the Lord is going to destroy these women in such a horrible way. But for the women that cleave to the elect men, they're going to receive salvation. It says in Isaiah 4 verse 2, In that day shall the branch of Yahweh be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Alright, the branch of Yahweh are the men of the Lord. Alright, let's jump down to verse 6. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat. Let's go to Revelation 21 verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai is with men. So the Lord is only dealing with men. He ain't dealing with no women. See? And those men are the elect men that praise Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, the remnant. And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And Yahweh himself shall be with them and be their power. And that's why we'll be saved and delivered from the hour of temptation and the second death, which is nuclear destruction of America. It says in Isaiah 4 verse 6, and there shall be a tabernacle, the men of the Lord, for a shadow in the daytime, from the heat, from the nuclear destruction, for a place of refuge, and for a cover from storm and from rain. Because it's about to rain nuclear missiles in America, in Babylon. And if you are not preserved through an elect man being a woman of the nation of Israel, all right, if you're not married and you're single and you're even a virgin, you're gonna get judgment. All right, because you're not doing what the Lord told you to do. You're not doing what the Lord created you to do. All right, and that's why in the judgment, Jacob's trouble, all the way up to the nuclear destruction, 2 Ezra 16, verse 30. I'll start at 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. So these virgins, right, they didn't want to have children. Guess what? Now you're not going to have no husbands, no men, right? The women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. All right? Because even if you had a sister wife, at least you wouldn't be alone in the world. But the Lord is going to take everything from these women. How do you humble someone with great pride? You take everything from them. And that's what the Lord is about to do to the woman in modern times. He's about to take everything from the modern woman. All right? It's talking about Israel in Isaiah 3 majority, but there's points to where he's talking about how he's going to judge the woman. All right? Look, in Isaiah 3 verse 18, in that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, and their calls, and their round tires like the moon, their chains, and the bracelets, and the mufflers, the bonnets, and the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands, and the tablets, and the earrings, the rings, the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink, and instead of a girdle, a rent, which they're all out of shape. They're dirty. The women today, they don't bathe. They're supposed to be taking baths, but instead they shower. And instead of well-set hair, baldness, which are women, they lose their hair. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and burning, which they destroy their beauty, instead of beauty. Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. All right? So these women are going to go from, what they think they're themselves as a high-level woman, deserving a high-value man, right? Because they got degrees, and they got jobs, and they got cars, and they got money, and they got all this pride. And they're going to be like that woman in the movie The Book of Eli. The one that was just getting passed around by those groups of men used as bait to rob other men. All right, these women don't know the judgment that's about to come upon them. All right? Because their pride is about to be destroyed. The Lord is done with all this pride, starting with the wicked. All right? And he's going to destroy the wicked and them that do wickedly, including the 2/3 of the nation of Israel in America, which are going to be majority women. All right? It says in Obadiah chapter 1, it's only one chapter, verse 3, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. All right? The pride it's talking about is with Esau, and just like we read in Isaiah 3, he has corrupted the Israelites. Thou that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rock, all right, the Caucasian, the caveman, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's the same pride these Jake women have. The so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian woman, and it's even scattering to other nations. You can see it on TikTok. You got all kinds of different nations of women shaking and showing their bodies, right? Being loose women instead of being a woman serving her husband like she was supposed to. All right? It says, but see, you tell these women anything, and with that pride, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? Well, the Lord's going to bring you down. You don't want to humble yourself? The Lord is going to take your head off. Right? You want to be a whore? Guess what? The Lord has newly created beasts that are going to fucking destroy you. All right? The Lord is going to allow your own wicked imagination to come upon you in a nightmare. All right? It says in Obadiah verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, dealing with America, the so-called white man uses the eagle, the great seal of America, and he's done this through in past times. And though thou set thy nest among the stars, they got a space force, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. And that's why all these women from the other countries wanted to come here, because they thought it was giving them some kind of power, giving them some kind of freedom, giving them some kind of authority over the man. See? But the Lord is going to bring the woman down with the so-called white man. Obadiah verse 10, it says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, talking about the so-called white man, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And that's why these Jake women are going to lose, because they're believing in the philosophies and the ways of the wicked, which are going to perish. So they're going to perish right along with the wicked. It says in verse 15, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. So you can't go to the so-called white man. You can't go to any heathen. And even the 2/3 of the nation of Israel that are operating like heathen are cut off. So the only choice that the women have are the elect men. And the elect men are the ones singing this song, sighing and crying, prophesying of the return of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Alright? And if you don't like that, too fucking bad. You're going to die in the lake of fire, and you're going to be fulfilling Proverbs 5, where it says, while you're burning and your flesh is perishing, you're going to wish that you would have took heed to the ones that the Lord has put before you. But because of your pride, the Lord is going to consume you with fire. It says, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, right? Even these women of our nation that rejected us, guess what? You're going to get rejected. You're going to get left behind. And then where you are is going to be turned into a lake of fire. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. All right, starting with the wicked, the other nations, but including them 2/3 that don't want nothing to do with Israel, They don't want nothing to do with Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. They don't want nothing to do with that salvation. Alright, you're going to be left here to die. And rightfully so, because you're useless, you're worthless, and you're good for nothing. You're a reprobate. All praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. Ba'asham Ha-Brakah Quadash. Double honors unto our apostles and elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure into the end. Shalom wa abba babal.